Going for it.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we got another cryptid battle. Now, I don't necessarily know if these could be considered cryptids, but folklore battle, we should say.
Folklore creatures.
It's a battle between dwarves and elves, and this one is going to be a little harder for me, I think, than what I originally thought about dwarves and elves. But if you like the episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you think will do better between elves and dwarves.
In a war battle, by the way. So multiple of each. So 100 dwarves versus 100 elves. Who's winning? Essentially, is what this debate is going to
In an
be
absolute
about.
warfare.
Yeah, let's start with
Sick.
dwarves, huh?
Yeah, dwarves. Dwarf is a type of supernatural being in Germanic folklore. Accounts of dwarves vary significantly throughout history. They are commonly, but not exclusively, presented as living in the mountains or stones and being skilled craftsmen. Diversity in appearance is not only seen between dwarves throughout time and region, but also with individual dwarves, who can become capable of changing their shape and size, such as a Regensmal, in which the dwarf Endervery lives as a pike in the water due to curse. Due to curse from a Norn. However, could also take on a human-like shape. In later German folklore, the Zwergion, dwarf king, is a tiny being but is capable of becoming enormously tall at will. In Eddic sources, dwarves are attributed with creating magical treasures for the gods, such as Molnir, Sif's hair, Drapnir, Golenbursti, Skilnubirnir, Glepnir, and
Glepnir.
Glepnir.
Glepnir and Gungnir. Well, in Sorla part there, they craft Bershingam for Freya.
We would like to apologize to all the viewers for our horrible pronunciations throughout this episode, by the way.
If there's any German or Icelandic viewers out there, we sincerely apologize.
Or dwarves and elves.
Just butchering everything. I don't
Especially
even
the
know.
dwarves and elves out there.
That last sentence, you can't even understand what the point of the sentence is, I don't think.
Glepnir.
Yeah.
Glepnir.
I don't know exactly what that added, but it just, we needed to say it.
Well,
yeah,
I honestly
they craft
just threw it in
Bershingam
there.
for Freya.
Yeah.
I threw it in there just because
They
it
created
shows
magical
their
treasures for
craftsmanship.
gods. Yeah.
Yeah. It shows their craftsmanship.
Exactly.
They're geniuses.
It's
Exactly.
Torben time.
That's facts.
Like in what was it in Thor Ragnarok where
Mjolnir?
the freaking dwarf he makes Mjolnir.
Yeah. Tolborn.
Yeah.
Tolborn.
Yeah. Like Buddy was crafting it against a star or something like that. I don't remember. But that's pretty sick.
All right, on to the elves.
Elves. Oh, I'm taking that one.
You are.
An elf is a type of humanoid supernatural being in Germanic folklore. Elves appear especially in North Germanic mythology. Elves are typically beautiful women. In medieval Germanic-speaking cultures, elves were thought of as beings with magical powers and supernatural beauty. Ambivalent towards everyday people and capable of either helping or hindering them. Because of elves' association with illness, in the 20th century, most scholars imagine that elves in the Anglo-Saxon tradition were small, invisible, demonic beings causing illness with arrows. The elves could be seen dancing over meadows, particularly at night on misty mornings. They left a circle where they had danced called Alvdanser, elf dances, or Elvringar, elf circles. and to urinate in one was thought to cause venereal diseases. So don't pee within the elf circles.
Don't pee in the circle. In the elf
Um,
dance circle.
Yeah, that last part is a very specific type of elf in folklore. It's not all elves in different folklores. It's very specific.
Well, I
but
guess
it-
if
I
they
thought
bring
was
it
pretty
out,
cool.
if they bring it out in battle, then it's kind of over for the dwarves.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
seems
it's
very important.
they're like putting crop circles out there, just basically like landmines for the dwarves, just all over the place. Maybe
Do they bottle this?
what?
The piss?
Yeah, do they bottle this and use it as warfare?
No, it's the circle.
It's the circle. It's the
So
circle
it's
in the ground. They
circle.
left
So-
a dancing circle.
Yeah, so they leave a circle. And if you urinate within the circle, then
You
you
get
get,
sick.
venereal diseases.
Oh, it's not their
No.
urine in general.
No,
Okay,
Yeah.
You,
So it's like-
I thought it was just their
It's like
urine in
don't
general.
pee in their territory,
yeah.
essentially.
Don't pee,
Okay,
don't pee
gotcha.
near them, or you will get venereal diseases.
Yeah. I'll also let it be said that I believe Bryson said they could be extremely tall, right? Elves,
Yes, they
Like
could be
6
up
foot?
to like 6'6".
6 foot
But they're
6.
extremely slender, so it'd be like 6'6", 135.
Yeah. So bunch of Slendermen, beautiful women. And then also another thing to take into consideration is when they do their little dancey dance, you can get caught in a trancey trance, and what could seem like hours turns out to be days. So they have this little like time warping effect thing that goes on there if you get caught staring at them dancing. So yeah, I guess opinions for who would win. Let's do it. And you guys ready for the countdown?
Yeah.
You guys have
Wait,
your guys-
wait. Let me just double check something.
Yeah, think about it. Think about it. It's all good. I think I have my answer.
I think
Yeah,
I
it
know
is.
what I'm going to say.
I think this episode is going to be very unserious, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. This is not like
This
a
won't be a typical battle. This
Yeah,
is
this
going to be
isn't
a
like a-
goofy one.
good cryptid battle. This is like bottom barrel weakest creatures.
Yep. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I know what I'm going to say.
I think I know what I'm going to say as well.
Cal, do you think you know what you're going to say?
I think I know what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Three,
Three.
2, 1, go.
Elves.
Dwarves.
Again, split 2 up here, 1 down there.
All right, Kyle, start us off.
I defer.
Okay. That's a good one. I can't rebuttal that, I guess. You got me there.
That's a very good tactic.
So I guess let's just start off. You know, they're beautiful women. They're just gonna seduce the dwarves and they win. Like,
Mhm.
that's it. Simple.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just doing their little tushy dance in their circle, and the elves are like, or the dwarves are like, oh my gosh.
Oh my god, I
I
gotta
have
pee.
to watch. I have to watch. But because they're watching for so long and they don't realize it's been so long, they're like, I gotta pee now. And then when the elves finally leave their dancing circle and the dwarf is like, where would be the best place to urinate? Obviously, it's going to be in the middle of the circle because that's where my beautiful, lovely people were. And it
My 6'6"
gets
goddess.
Yeah, it gets those little dwarves off to be within the circle that the elves were dancing in. So they're going to urinate in there and all get venereal disease and die.
Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, dwarves are skilled craftsmen, right? So they're not going into this war not knowing what they're going against. It's obviously they're going into war against the dwarves. This
The
is
elves. They're going
the,
against
the elves. Yeah, the dwarves are going against the elves.
Yeah.
So they're
Actually-
clearly
The dwarves will be going against the dwarves for the hot females.
Yeah, they
Right.
could turn against themselves.
which brings me to what I think the dwarves will do, and that is use their skilled craftsmanship to create
Uh-oh.
chastity belts. Boom.
That doesn't
They
fix
all have
anything.
they all have chastity belts that
Dude, they're
has
all
the
gonna-
That
magic.
doesn't take away the urge. That brings it more because you can't act on the urge.
Then they're all
That
gonna
has
have
the
piss
magical
diapers.
that has the magical abilities that they use for the god's treasure to stop it from giving a basically a that feeling of like I want to go out and venture in the night for an elf. Instead, it'll be like, yo, let's kill these people.
Okay, but what are they gonna kill them with?
Mjolnir.
They
Okay.
can't. They can't wield that.
Yeah.
Only Thor can.
So they have to wield
They'll just
something
fucking
that they are
overdrive it. They
capable of
built it.
wielding.
They'll just overdrive that
Yeah, and
shit.
as soon as they built it, it was
No.
like, oh, can't wield that anymore.
That's not how it works.
Well,
I
then
think
they'll
they
just
can only
build.
wield
They'll
like
just build
tiny
something else.
swords,
Kyle,
like,
let me put it like this.
like
Okay,
toothpicks.
let me put it like
The little
this.
swords that you pick up the cheese with.
Let me put it like this to you, Kyle. And
Yeah,
I want to
yeah.
hear your rebuttal to this.
Mm-hmm.
They're master craftsmen. They're always at work. See,
Yeah.
Snow White. They're always working
Mm-hmm.
away. That means they get no tail. Okay?
Right.
So you're going
Right.
to put, let's say it's 100 on 100. You're going to put 100 females right in front of them and not think they're going to act out. They get no tail, and you're going to put some feline in front of them and make them not act right? Come on,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle. Come on.
He brings up a very valid point.
See, he can't even rebuttal that one.
Just a bunch of little incel dwarves.
He's like, "Oh yeah, someone's off screen talking to me. Gotta
Yeah,
go."
He's distracted. What I think
Hey,
is
hey, watch this one. Hey, Kyle,
Yeah.
was that a female that just distracted you right there?
Not a dwarf.
I'm just saying.
Right.
I rest my case.
All right.
Yep.
Let's
Okay,
bring
bring
that
it back.
back. Like, bring it back real quick. So I can hear like what you were saying there.
it was
Okay.
the same exact thing.
So basically, where did
Oh,
you
you're
leave
just
off
like
at?
going
What was the last thing you heard?
basically about the war.
I basically was saying like, the dwarves, they're working away. That's all they do is work. So they don't
Right.
get any tail.
So
But
when
you're
they
going to
see
put
the
some
women,
feline in front of them, they're not going to act right. They're not going to be in
Right,
their
but-
right mind. They're all going to be trying to get the tail. They're not going to be themselves. They're
I
going
think
to act
you're-
out. They're going to not be in their right mind, and they're not going to be able
Mm-hmm.
to fight right. They're craftsmen, not fighters.
I think you're misinterpreting like what war is because they're not going into it blindsided, not knowing what elves are capable of.
I think you're
They're gonna
misinterpreting what
pre-plan
a
for that.
man will do with no tail for that long.
Yeah, they know that that's not really there for the and like they're the enemies.
No, they're trying for the taking.
These are essentially a bunch of little Discord
You
moderators.
think all these? Oh, so then there's no
That's
war.
facts. That's facts.
So what are you saying that they're all
No,
just going
there's
to
a
go?
war, but the elves will seduce. That is their attack. And the dwarves will
Again,
fall
like-
victim.
There have been many instances in many wars where the seduction of women where women from opposing sides will use seduction in order to take out the head honcho of the opposing nation.
Correct, a covert operation.
There's multiple
that nobody
assassins
knows
that
about.
use seduction to assassin their victim.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
it doesn't
but
need
you're
to be
talking about
covert because the actual soldiers
it-
are all
Seduced.
sea ladies.
But
Exactly.
they're going into war knowing exactly what that is. Like they know they're going to see that. They know that they're going to be tempted, and they know
And
to
they give in to
fend off
temptation.
against it.
Simple as
Hold
that.
on there, and build their armor that protects them from whatever these aromas or anything that's trying to seduce them to do that.
Aroma?
So they're gonna build like
Anything, yeah, like-
anti-sexy glasses.
No,
So what
not
are they going to
necessarily.
do with that?
It
They're
could be
just gonna
glasses. It could
stationary,
be
not
just
do
like
anything?
no. They're still going to have weapons. They're very.
build
They
nose
can make
plugs.
weapons. They can wield weapons for sure.
For sure, but what are they going to do inside their little freaking box?
So what?
Then they
what
leave their
weapon-
box
What
and
is
they're
this?
seduced.
What is
What
this
thing?
seduction aroma you are speaking of?
Exactly.
Well, seduction can be in any type of form. So
For
aroma
sure.
was an example,
What
or
smell?
visual,
What
like
smell
what
is
you're
she
saying with
putting out
glasses.
there? Was
Yeah,
she
I want to know
wafting
what
it?
smell. I want to know what smell it is.
It can happen. I mean, like that's how like most nature happens around springtime.
dance
You know,
circle.
like people,
They be
the
getting
males smell the
sweaty.
females smell the males hear, or the females
True.
hear the males
The pheromones.
fighting, singing. You know,
Yeah.
all that shit. So any form of seduction can be like present. So you're gonna
Aw.
prepare for that. If that is all that the elves have against the dwarves.
Kyle, dwarves are known to sing, okay? And a female is going to sing, match their tone, draw them out of their box, and then they're screwed.
Or what
I
about if
hope-
they sing
I hope
to
It's off the panties we go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What about
I
what about
rest
if they
my
sing
case.
something like that and then they put the elves in a trance?
Elves are so used to that. Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
I think a very good strategy for the elves to win this battle, besides seduction, they have two ways to beat it, or two ways to beat the dwarves: seduction, and number two, they use their dance circles like landmines.
Ooh.
They just do dance circles everywhere on the battlefield, so no matter where the dwarves go, I know
A massive around the
they do it-
battlefield circle, so if they pee anywhere.
around them, surrounding them, essentially, so that anywhere that the dwarves pee, dwarves got to pee at some point. So, they can't walk for hundreds of miles without urinating. So eventually,
I'll look it up.
they will reach a point where they have to urinate, and they will urinate within a circle landmine, and they will contract venereal disease.
So you're betting on the fact that this war will take
I'm betting
hours
on Mother
upon
Nature.
hours?
I'm betting
Kyle,
on
a
Mother-
dwarf
Yeah,
can hold their bladder for about 9 to 10 hours.
Did you just say
That's
I'm
pretty
betting
good.
on this war taking hours? No, I'm betting on this war taking days to years.
It's 100 versus 100. It's gonna take maybe a couple hours.
Army versus army.
You think 100 dwarves and elves are going to kill each other in a couple hours?
No.
It's not like they have.
No.
It's
Especially
not like
with
they have
strategic
far-range warfare. It's gonna be
strategic-
all close combat.
Dude,
They're both
elves-
very
elves are
smart
known
beings, also,
for
so they're going to be
long range.
strategic about it.
Elves are known for not close range, it's only long range.
What weapon are they wielding?
Like a bow and arrow.
Okay, well, dwarves will have armor on. They'll have a shield.
And they're going to take it off when they see that tail. So what's your point?
They won't. That's my point.
But they
You're
will.
trying.
I
They
will
will.
also say,
Your guys' only argument is saying that they're gonna get seduced.
Your
And
only
that's
rebuttal
it.
is that they're going to build a box.
or they're going to have to pee.
Ooh,
No, I'm saying
yes,
that they can win in
That-
close
that's my
combat,
other- that's
and
my
they
other
can
rebuttal.
they can prepare for both.
Do you
of
want to
that.
bring up a third point? I'll bring up a third point.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What's your third point?
So, like Bryson was saying about the long range, it is also believed that these elves, because they're so associated with like diseases and stuff like that, that they will hit you with arrows that have diseases, like kind of like
Arrows?
a poison dart kind of thing. So they use bows and arrows, and they will use those arrows dipped in their diseases, and basically give you diseases via bow and arrow,
So you're getting
See
AIDS
this?
arrow,
This-
Kyle.
via
This-
archery.
You can't see it, but right in front of my arm is a shield just going blocking
Kyle, I
that.
don't think you realize that arrows still go through things.
Cool. Yeah, these are gonna be metal shields.
That's literally
Well,
not
yeah.
true.
But the crazy thing is, AIDS melts through metal.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
What?
Yeah.
Dude.
How
If you
quick
get a
is this?
strong enough disease,
Yeah.
it goes through anything.
Instantly or like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy.
What's your
That's-
rebuttal to
that's-
the AIDS arrow, Kyle?
What's
think about
Anti-AIDS shield.
He got us there.
Anti-AIDS shield. I
From
forgot
previous
that these
historical
dwarves-
warfare
I
between the
forgot that
dwarves and
they
the elves, they
They're
still had
master craftsmen.
they had
I
the
forgot that the dwarves trademarked that. My bad.
yeah, dude.
No, in a realistic
Genuinely-
sense, though, I think someone that can shoot long range and that's significantly bigger will probably win.
Yeah, genuinely, this battle is
Shield.
very close, but I do
Shield.
think the elves have the upper hand because of their enchantress abilities plus their actual capabilities.
So, what capabilities do they have in close combat? Because there's definitely going to be some close combat. It's not all going to be far range attacks.
Ooh!
No, there's no way that's going to
Ooh,
work.
Whip it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, these guys are preparing for exactly that.
Well, I'm not saying they're going to
Okay.
use it to seduce them.
Okay, Kyle.
I'm saying
No.
they're going to use the reverse egg technique.
1 second.
And as soon as the dwarf
second.
is beneath, as soon as the dwarf is beneath them, they're whipping it out and they're sucking them within them.
Like, oh my
The
god.
reverse egg technique.
Oh my god. Kyle,
Patent
how
pending by
long
the
do you
elves.
think they're preparing for this? Like, it's 100 on 100. It's not like this is a 10-year long preparation. This is spur of the moment.
Well, yeah, you're still going to have some preparation for it.
What? A day?
If you're going into a war, you're getting prepped for it. It's not going to just be spontaneous.
Kyle, 100 on 100. You can't even call that a war. We're just doing it for the sake of the video because we do one-on-ones.
Well, hey, you guys
I think
opened
100
with the same
is
war.
fair. If we drop it, should we drop it down to 1-on-1?
If we do one-on-one, I
think
like
it's
100 on 100. I mean, realistically though,
I
it's
like
still going to
100
be
on
the
100
same
too.
outcome.
Yeah. But also they can
So
use...
how much preparation time are you giving
But that's
them
why
in
I
your
think...
head?
How much preparation time are we giving them? I don't know.
Like
for
what
both
have you
sides?
what have you been thinking? Like when you
Let's,
say preparation, they're ready for this. Like what was your number?
I would say at least couple days. Couple day notice. Somewhat messenger bird comes in.
They get a
The
2-day
elves are
notice.
coming. The dwarves are coming. You know, whichever way,
Meet
whichever
at this
side.
point at sundown on the third sundown.
No, not that necessarily, but like, you know, like the
I'll give you
British are
that.
coming, so like wherever
give you
they
that.
land to when they're coming is where the
Yeah.
war's happening.
They hit them with the old 1 by land, 2 by sea.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So 3 days.
Yeah. 3 days, let's say.
And you think guys who got no tail is going to be okay in 3 days?
I think guys just don't lock in
No.
and
I
then
think
just go.
Look at a Discord moderator, Kyle.
Day
Yeah.
1 they fold.
You're telling me,
without a
yeah,
doubt.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Literally
Well,
no pressure, they will fold.
The people who fold are like.
The dwarves, you're
Nah,
right.
Never mind.
Yeah,
I was
say it,
I was gonna
Kyle,
say
say
something
it,
crazy.
Kyle.
You want me to say it? You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say the people.
Well, back from the break,
We
we're
went
back
there.
on to dwarves versus
men
elves.
like that,
So.
men
Yeah,
like
back
that,
from the break.
men like that fold under pressure.
Sorry about that
Yeah.
cut. You didn't get to see the crazy thing Kyle just said, but
Join the Vimeo
Patreon.
if you want to see, or the Patreon.
join the Patreon.
Patreon
for the uncut version of this argument.
OnlyFans. Our group only.
That's coming later.
It technically is only for fans. Yeah.
Back from cut
Right.
number 2 where I
Closing
said something
statement.
crazy.
We have closing statements now. Okay? Closing statements. I want to hear a closing statement from Bryson and a closing statement from Kyle.
Okay. I think realistically, if they were to fight, the elves will just keep their distance and either A, they just simply run away or they win the war. They will not let the dwarves get anywhere near them.
My closing statement for the dwarves is that the dwarves are going to be superior in their skilled craftsmanship to create armor to protect them, shields to defend themselves, and weapons to attack. Most of it may be in close range battle, and I think that's where they will have most of the advantage.
But it'll never get there.
But it will get there.
Yeah, they're going to be sprinting for that tail and not actually for the battle. Kian, your turn.
With that, I think it's a pretty close battle, but in the end, the elves will take the W due to the fact that the dwarves only have one way of winning. That is by brute, basically just an
Force.
impale sort of straight on
Just blunt force
collision.
trauma.
Yeah, straight on collision. Whereas the elves, they have basically 3 different routes they can take. They can take the landmine route, they can take the seduction route, or they can take the long-range weapon route. The diversity, I think, overcomes the brute strength.
That brings up a good point that we never talked about earlier.
That's my closing statement.
Duality
With
will
that-
always win.
With that, again, sound off in the comments down below what you guys think would be the victor in this battle, 100 elves or 100 dwarves. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Daily Horrorcast. Signing off.